All right, let's get into this today. This is kind of exciting. This has been a long time coming. I've been looking for the perfect hydrogel solution for water-soluble peptides and other substances. What's the purpose of it? Well, in my case, for my uses, it slows down the release of whatever your peptide is, whatever your substance is, and it works very well for things that are typically water-soluble but not oil-soluble. If you have an oil-soluble anabolic that's in castor oil and solved correctly, it'll already be very slow release. If you do a subcutaneous half a milliliter, it could last several days as it slowly leaves the injection site due to the thickness of the oil, the viscosity. And what we're doing with hydrogel is the same thing for water-soluble peptides and other substances that are difficult to solve in oil. Now, hydrogels are something that are in the experimental medical field already in various forms. Hydrogels are used for medical testing as scaffolds for creating artificial cell environments for disease modeling and drug screening, biosensors, bioimaging, etc. Drug delivery. Hydrogels can be designed to encapsulate and slowly release drugs at a specific site, and can be triggered to release the drug in response to stimuli, etc., etc. So it's very customizable. And like I say, for our cases, this gives us something that we can somewhat tailor make to the release time that we want to perform with our own peptides and other substances. There are a variety of things that can go into a hydrogel to make it slow release and to make it perform the way we want it to. And when I started looking at this 2 years ago or so, I was looking at methylcellulose and xanthan gum. An interesting thing about this combination, methylcellulose and xanthan gum can be combined. Forgive me, I'm still a little stuffed up here. Methylcellulose and xanthan gum can be combined to create injectable thermoresponsive hydrogels. At room temperature, they form a high viscosity, shear thinning solution that can be injected. Upon reaching body temperature, the methylcellulose forms a network causing the blend to immediately gel into a stable hydrogel. This blend is promising for applications like long-term drug delivery due to its biocompatibility and biodegradability. Now, if you think about it, this sounds awesome because what we would have is our gel with a substance in it that was in a little bit of a mildly viscous, thicker than water solution that we can drop into a syringe and inject, but once injected, the body temperature, our body heat, actually causes it to form a matrix that is more stable and slower releasing than the room temperature gel itself. Now, here's where I ran into a hiccup with this particular formulation. I'm allergic to xanthan gum, and upon doing a little bit of research and looking around, it's not that uncommon to be allergic to xanthan gum. It's not everybody, but it's enough of us to where it's just not practical for me and several of the other guys that I've been testing things with. So for the last couple of years, I've just been using a simple methylcellulose blend, of course sterilized and with the proper emulsifiers and stuff like that to get it to do what we want to do basically. But thanks to someone who reached out, and you know who you are, thank you, sir, I became aware of another substance that I could blend with the methylcellulose to get it to perform the way I wanted to without the allergic reaction. Here's a bottle of my new hydrogel that I just pulled out of the fridge, and I'm going to show as best I can. If you can get an idea there, that's thicker than water, okay? But it's not extremely thick. It's still moving around in the container very easily. And I'll go ahead and squirt some out just so you can see what's what. Oh, this is not a squirt bottle. There you go. So it moves. It's a little thicker than water, but it moves. Now, this is at refrigerator temperatures, 39 degrees Fahrenheit, thereabouts. Now, this is a bottle that's been sitting out at room temperature. Look how thin that is. That's actually closer to the viscosity of water at room temperature. Comes out even easier, okay? Now, what's the benefit to that? Okay. When you're putting your peptides together, when you're preparing something for injection, that room temperature viscosity is very easy to work with, very easy to drop into a syringe or squirt into the back of a syringe, whatever you need to do, very easy to transfer. Once put into the fridge and it becomes thicker, that protects the peptide from degradation and mechanical jostling and things like that. It's just a more stable environment for the peptide. But Here's the coup de grace. When you get this up to body temperature, look what happens. I've been wearing this bottle in my waistband since I've been talking. Look at this. We're not even going to mess with the lid. Hello. This has just been sitting in my waistband for about 10 minutes. You see what's happening there? That is the ultimate in slow release hydrogel. At body temperatures, it's so thick that it won't even come out of the open container. And if we do squeeze it, which I think this bottle will squeeze, we'll just put it on this old jar here. Watch how thick this is, if it'll even come out. Heaven's sakes. Good night. I'm squeezing this for all I've got, folks. It's like 3D printing. Now you'd think, well, what's that going to do once you inject it? Well, it's going to release very slowly. I took an injection subcutaneously in a sensitive spot at the front of my hip area where I actually have a lot of nerves and I don't like to shoot. I did that on purpose to test how sensitive, how to shoot this in a sensitive spot and what kind of interruptions that would cause, inflammation, anything like that. Nothing. Not even near as much as my typical TRT shot, my microdose. Because it's slow moving and because it's malleable, it actually conforms to the body very well and doesn't cause irritation. No xanthan gum, no irritants. And I've actually adjusted the pH drop by drop to just under 6. So it's a very neutral pH, which is good for 4.5 to 5 ideal pH range oxytocin and good for 7 range IGF-1, that sort of thing. So we're meeting right in the middle at a very nice neutral pH. So you can solve a variety of peptides in this solution without worrying about them degrading too quickly due to an improper pH balance. Let's see, this is the one straight out of the fridge. This is the very thin one at room temperature, which is its most malleable and easiest to move around. See, this comes out just like water almost. But watch what happens when I put it in a little bit of hot water. No tricks. Real time here. Gonna swirl this around in just some warm water I warmed up in the microwave a few minutes ago. Already getting thicker. We'll let this sit. I'm going to set it right here in front of the screen so you can see that it's not moving anyway. We'll come right back to that. I guess it takes a few minutes for that heat to transfer all the way in. Ta-da! Interesting stuff. That was what, 2 minutes? Now I've already got this product listed. There's not a bunch of fancy pictures or anything. This is the size of the container that I will send. This is 60 mils in a squeeze bottle. The reason I'm doing this in a squeeze bottle is you don't got to worry about glass breaking during shipment. It's BPA free. And all you've got to do is at room temperature, especially, just open up the top, backfill your vial, your syringe, whatever you're using, easy to fill. And you can find it on the Gym Viking USA website, gymvikingusa.com, all the way down in the advanced products at the very bottom. Ultra Gel, $19.99. And 60 mils is quite a bit. You can make quite a bit of peptides with this. You can make 6 10 ml bottles. And if you don't like that price, order a couple bottles. I'll give you a break. But I got to charge something because this is not just methyl cellulose and xanthan gum. There's some interesting ingredients in here that are a little pricier. Anyway, I hope this makes some sense. I hope this is valuable to somebody. I know it's valuable to me. And I find it a lot of fun watching what happens with these gels. And they hold for quite a while once they're up to temperature. Put them back in the fridge and they turn into this. Nice and liquid again. But again, fridge temp, buffered, thicker than water, less of a fragile environment for your peptides. Room temperature, nearly as liquid as water. And body temperature, very, very, very viscous, very thick, very slow releasing. If you're taking an injection of this and you use 0.1 milliliters, a tenth of a milliliter, expect for that to take over a day to dissolve and leave the injection area. But it's a steady, slow release as your blood flows, giving you perfect solution for slow release products, for slow release things that you want an even blood level of for days on end.